The show is called Connecting Hope, and that's exactly what we hope to do here on WHMB TV 40. Hi, I'm Will Hampton, along with Monica Greer from the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs and Connecting Hope.
Yeah.
We've had some good stories over the last 7 or 8 weeks of this show, and that's what I like most about it, is people are reaching out and saying thank you because you've helped steer us somewhere. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback and just the number of resources that we have in the community that people weren't aware of. So I'm so glad we're doing this.
And I think that's another thing that, like we've talked about before, we're sitting here in Hamilton County, and you're the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs. But there are people watching this show that might see something that says, I can go there and get help.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And one of those is Transformations. They're right on State Road 38 in Noblesville. And tell me a little bit about what you know about Transformations.
Transformations is a facility that houses women, so women in recovery. I don't believe they provide treatment in-house. I could be wrong. When they first started, they didn't. But they have a really, really good connection with the women there. They take them to meetings and provide recovery services that they need.
And I believe they have 10 beds available.
Yes.
Right now, I think, not available, but that's total. I think they have some of that, about half of it filled. So people watching this show and you need help, you can reach out to the folks at Transformations.
Yes.
And I know that it's kind of a holistic kind of focus on just mind, body health.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So Lacey will do a better job of explaining.
You want to hear
to
from
me.
Lacey?
Let's hear from Lacey.
Lacey Gibney, she is the CEO and founder of what we call Transformations. And here's Lacey.
Well, I wanted to start Transformations, first of all, because we were missing long-term treatment facilities in Indiana, and we were missing really more of a holistic kind of natural approach where there was there was an investment in women over time to be able to walk with them the journey, to really dive deep into brokenness and trauma, and to really gain an understanding of why they used and to get healing from that, as well as to start stepping into their future and helping them in that piece of the journey as well. And so I wanted to create something that was more integrative and just helped them kind of every step of the way, because recovery, the first couple of years are really rough, and they need that support for that time. But when I got into it, I wanted to help people, but I didn't realize how much it would also just change me and grow me and make me a better person and make me just love better and trust God more and deepen my own faith. And so I just hope that we can give back as much to them as that they've given, to me. I tried so many times to get healing and to stop using and get recovery without Jesus. And when I had an experience with Jesus, it changed me. I mean, it changed my heart forever. And I never want to live my life without Christ. Like, it is the absolute rock and core of everything that makes me anything, He's the one who's given me the passion and the desire. And I think just the steadfastness and the faithfulness to continue to do this kind of ministry, because it's hard. And there's a lot of sad and broken stories, and people don't make it, and lots of people do. And so God is really the one that equips our staff to be able to help ladies. Aside from him, we couldn't do much.
Again, Lacey does a lot better job explaining it than I can.
Me too.
But she really is helping people, and she's trying to get people there. It's still a growing business, really, for her, trying to get on the map so people know who she is.
Yeah.
Other agents we've talked about, agencies, Suburban North, the Tower Group. That's really what you guys are. You're a group, a collection of agencies trying to direct people there.
Yeah. The Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs, we don't provide any direct services per se, but we collaborate with all of the different agencies within the community. So we know what resources are out there. So if someone is in need of a resource that we haven't talked about, they can get in touch with me. But it's just, we've got great collaboration with a lot of good resources.
I know we've heard a lot of success stories. We're going to take a little break from that in a different way, where faith is still very, very much part of the journey. And we'll talk about that later in the show. Plus, Prevail. What is that about? We'll hear it next here on Connecting Hope. Again, we thank you for watching Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton, your host, and also Monica Greer,
Yes.
co-host. I keep calling myself host. You're the host, I'm the co-host.
No.
And we've got some help now here.
You're the professional.
At our desk, Susan Ferguson from Prevail, you're the executive director. And we're just now wrapping up what they call Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we kind of interchangeably call it Domestic Violence Awareness Month or Domestic Violence Prevention Month. We really want to focus on that
Yes.
prevention piece because we want fewer and fewer people to have to experience that that level of violence. So, October is an important time for us to just bring attention to the issue. We do a Go Purple campaign during October, so we ask people all over the community to wear purple, get purple pictures, post on social media. We find that it's an opportunity for, especially to bring attention to this issue for victims so that they know the community is willing to help. It's a very underreported crime, so a lot of people don't even tell people that they're experiencing it. It happens behind closed doors. A lot of people experience shame or embarrassment about those issues, so they don't ask for help. So by going purple, our community gets to send the message that we're ready to help and we want to stop this.
I know here in Noblesville, especially in Hamilton County, we know Prevail really well. We know what you guys do. We know what it's about. But our audience spans really across central Indiana.
Yeah.
And really the world, when you think the World Wide Web and all that.
Right.
So tell people a little bit about, if they have to kind of give your elevator speech on what Prevail does and what you guys are all about.
Yeah, so Prevail advocates for victims of crime and abuse. So in lots of ways that makes us a little bit unique, even across the state and I'm sure nationally and internationally, because we work with all kinds of victims of crime and abuse. So not only domestic violence and sexual assault, which are more common, but we also see victims of things like harassment or even somebody who's survived homicide or they've lost somebody in their family to driving while intoxicated. They seek services at Prevail as well, and we can help them with those issues. So we definitely do that crisis intervention. So sometimes we meet people at the moment, something happens to them, and they might be at the hospital or the police are on the scene with them. But we also do a restorative support. So longer term, things like support groups and meeting with people individually, safety planning, helping them, whatever it is that they need to kind of get back to where they were before that crime or abuse happened. Yeah. So we're providing all those. And then also the prevention side of things too. So always looking at the community as how can we create a safer place for all of our citizens.
So do you provide services to youth and adults?
Yeah, great question. So we serve anybody about age 5 and up. So we don't have play therapy so much, but anybody 5 and up, we provide advocacy services. So not therapy or counseling, but more psychoeducational support. So we're doing a lot of education about trauma and those issues that we deal with, and then helping people with coping skills or kind of skill building around those issues so that they can move on. A couple of other things that we do is helping through that criminal justice system as well. So when people end up being a witness or need to testify in court about what they've experienced, then we can help them through that process as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with Prevail?
7 years.
7 years,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, time flies.
So what's your passion about working there? What are some things that you really enjoy?
Yeah, so I love working at Prevail, partly because of our empowerment philosophy. So I have been in human services my entire career, but the last, I'm embarrassed to say how long, 15 years or so, have been more in the domestic violence or victim services field. And what I love about that is really empowering people to make decisions. So nothing that anybody that comes to Prevail, nothing that they accomplish does Prevail take credit for. We just help those people who have experienced things to make the best decisions they can for themselves and their families. So they get to make those decisions. We're just providing information or helping to maybe open some doors to make those easier, but they are responsible for everything that, all their next moves. So we love that philosophy.
Yeah. This show, Connecting Hope, we really focus on alcohol and drug abuse and really acceptance, stigma, trying to erase some stigmas and getting people help.
Yeah.
When you think of Prevail and drug and alcohol abuse and crimes, where's the connection, and do you see a lot of connections?
Yeah, so in a couple of ways. One is kind of the philosophy that you just said, accepting people where they are, making sure that they get the information or what they need to make next steps. But the maybe more obvious connection is a lot of people assume that alcohol or drugs causes domestic violence. So when somebody gets drunk or high, they're more likely to hurt the person that they're living with. So I would push back on that a little bit and just say that word cause is a really challenging one for us. So yes, there's a correlation. So very often when, especially law enforcement will tell you when they show up on the scene of a domestic violence incident, very often alcohol or drugs is involved. But my pushback would be that yes, that might be when the physical incident happens, but domestic violence is so much more complicated than that. And it's really a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week dynamic where power and control are involved every minute of every day. So that alcohol or drugs might exacerbate that and might escalate to violence, but the actual power and control happens all the time. So it's not caused by those issues, but correlated.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. The emotional side of it is so damaging as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, lots of dynamics.
You mentioned 34 years now Prevail has been around. Next year is the big 35th anniversary. What kind of looking in your crystal ball for next year and some of the things you have planned to celebrate the success stories of Prevail?
Yeah, we're super excited about our 35th year, and really we'll try to highlight those things. So we have our 3 regular fundraising events scheduled, and fingers crossed we have a vaccine, or for somehow we're able to get out in public again for past this pandemic. But we have our bowling event in February, which is the Hamilton County employees versus Noblesville City employees, big bowling event out at Bowl 32. So really, or 3-2 fun.
I think the Noblesville City has won that several years in a row, right?
Yes.
I was on the team a couple years ago. It wasn't because of me. I'm just saying we won.
Yes, right.
So you have the bowling, and then what else?
That's right. And then we are planning our fashion show in May, and then our gala in August. So all of those will celebrate our 35th anniversary. But we also have big things on the horizon for next year, always looking at ways we can serve people better. We are going to be very fortunate to be launching a rapid rehousing program. So we will be able to help victims of domestic violence who are fleeing their situation to actually get some housing here in Hamilton County. We're super excited about that.
That's so needed.
Been a need for a long time here. So so that's one thing. We also have the opportunity to make some changes in our building, to expand our waiting room. So we have just lots of things on the horizon for Prevail. So we're really looking forward to our 35th anniversary and all the good things that are coming.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for being here. Real quickly, if there's a way for people to reach out to you, is there a website?
Yes, prevailinc.org, so prevailinc.org. Yes, please check out the website. Call us. We do have a 24/7 crisis line and a business line. Everything's on the website. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
And we will continue with Connecting Hope right after this timeout.
Hi, I'm Amy. I run Lifehouse Ministries here in Noblesville, Indiana. We are a 12-bed women's facility helping women find freedom from drug and alcohol abuse. You can contact us at 317-937-8256 or find more information at lifehousenoblesville.com.
So my name is Jim Ginder, and I'm with Hamilton County Health Department. I'm the health education specialist at our office. What I'm going to do today is to show you how to deal with somebody who possibly overdosed on an opiate. So what we're going to do before we do anything is we need to make sure that the scene is safe, because I do not want to become that victim. So we have our mannequin here, so he's unresponsive. So first of all, I'm going to make sure the scene is safe. Then I'm going to come up and shake and shout, "Hey, are you okay? You're okay." He's unresponsive. I'm going to pull out my cell phone and call 911, or have somebody with me call 911. Then I'm going to put my head down by his mouth and nose, then also on his chest, And what you're doing is you are listening and you're feeling. So you don't hear anything and you don't feel the rise and fall of the chest. So you're gonna take your Narcan or naloxone. I'm gonna open it up. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take it out of the package, stick it in one of his nostrils, put it in as far as you can, push the button until the button is all the way flat with the device. Then what you're gonna do is you need to flip them over. And the reason why you need to flip them over, there's a pretty good chance that they're gonna start to vomit after that Narcan starts to work. It takes about 2 minutes for Narcan to work. Roll him back over if you don't see him breathing again, and give a second dose as well. Just remember, when you give Narcan, a lot of times the person will vomit. So that's the reason why I flipped him over. And also that the person can be a little combative when you wake them up. But hopefully the police will be there by the time you need to give that second dose of Narcan, or by the time that the individual starts to wake up as well too. Thank you very much for watching how to take care of someone who has possibly overdosed on an opiate. If you would like more information, you can visit our page at Hamilton County Health Department, which is www.hamiltoncounty.in.gov. Then just hit Health Department, and you can send us an email, or if you're interested in obtaining some Narcan, we can also provide you some Narcan as well too, free of charge.
There he is again, the star of the show, Jim Ginder. And we talked about it last week here on Connecting Hope. The Narcan boxes are working. They do work when people know how to use them. That's the key.
Yes, they have saved lives. We're so glad that they're in the community where they're easily accessible if someone is in need of it. So.
I think to a story, every time we talk about a success story here on Connecting Hope, faith has been a central piece in them getting to the road to recovery first and then staying on the road to recovery.
Yeah.
How much do you believe faith really plays a role in this whole thing?
I think it plays a big role, definitely. I've worked with a lot of people in recovery and in treatment, and there's always a piece depending on what their faith is and what their higher power is, but it seems to always be a factor.
So tonight here on Connecting Hope, a little twist to our success stories. This is Edie Kesey, and her success story is the way she helps other people at the Hinkle Creek Friends Church.
Brianna's Hope started in November of 2014. A young girl named Brianna got mixed up in drugs in early teen years and ended up dying as a result of that. And she kept a journal, and she wrote a prayer that, asking the Lord, saying, please help me. I want a better life, Lord, I really do. I'm not a bad person. And in all of our meetings, we read Brianna's prayer. And the pastor that did the little, the funeral in the little community in Red Key, Indiana, Randy Davis says, hey, there's got to be something that we can do. And so he created Brianna's Hope. These people that come to this meet, they're so humble and they're so appreciative. It's just amazing. They're just so thankful for what you're helping them do. They have tried so long on their own to try to stop, and they truly want to stop. And so they're so thankful that you know all about them. And they even, we have conversations in the meetings here that, we don't share with everybody else, but they're open to tell you their stories and tell you of some of the embarrassing and shameful things that they've done. But they can do that here, which is an honor to me, is that they feel comfortable enough to be that honest and that open, and they know that they're not being judged. And I'll tell you another thing I have come to find out in the last couple of weeks. I've realized that, to me, you'll have times when people in addiction may stumble, they may fall off the wagon, they may relapse, but when that only lasts for a day or two, and they're like, I ain't going back there. I don't want that anymore. And they turn around, they go back in the direction that they came. So to me, that's success. You know, just because they have stumbled or have had a relapse, the thing is they don't stay there, and they would have in years past. So having the support, and they can come back and be honest with us. And we don't shame them, and we rejoice with them. I'm so happy, you know, because look, you could have stayed there, but you didn't. So, you know, my heart is just overjoyed with that, and I think sometimes they can't, it doesn't make sense to them. They can't figure it out because it shouldn't be that easy, but that's just the way it is. So I have truly been able to share the love of Jesus in doing this ministry and with this addiction support group. It's just been the most wonderful experience in my career.
She's retired law enforcement, and she just has a heart for connecting people to their faith,
Yeah.
so that they can do great works.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have a website, but Hinkle Creek Friends Church, I think it's out there on Hinkle Creek Road, near 216th Street.
Yeah.
And that's a place you can go to maybe get some help.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
We're going to wrap up this edition of Connecting Hope after this short timeout. We've reached the end of another show, Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton, along with Monica Greer from the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs. And each and every week we have some good stories. This one, I think, we triggered faith. We look back at Prevail. When you think of what Prevail is all about, they really do good work, don't
Yeah, they touch a lot of lives, and everyone that works there is so passionate about their job, and they even have a dog that is helpful with therapy as
Really?
well. So, yeah, pretty neat.
I've seen dogs at college campuses step in and help kids get ready for the trauma of
Oh,
testing.
yeah.
So they must work.
Yeah, yeah, that dog knows sign language.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks,
Pretty
Susan
amazing.
Ferguson, for coming
Yeah.
in tonight. And we do appreciate you watching here on Connecting Hope. Monica, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, thanks, George Christo, for the desk.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Connecting Hope.